Right, solve the following part 5. Now, these are all look similar, but actually there's quite a difference between them. If you look down the first column, the unknown, the variable, is always in the base. That makes these polynomial equations. If you look down the second column, you'll notice that the unknown is up in the superscript here. And when that happens, these are called exponential equations, when the exponent is the unknown. Right, and all of them are done at this level without a calculator through a process of trial and error. There are steps you can do to help yourself. So for number 1, for example, I'm looking for a number so that when I times it by itself 4 times, I end up with 16. So set yourself up. This number has to be the same number, and for the purposes of this level, with no calculator, it's only going to be a whole number like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So clearly with something like 16, I'm pretty confident 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 8 times 2 is 16, x equals 2. However, there is another possibility that you need to consider, and that is to consider negative 2. So if we go back and put negatives along there and now consider that answer, when you have 2 negatives together like that, 2 negatives multiplying makes a positive. And here's another 2 negatives multiplied together will make a positive. So yes, negative 2 to the power of 4 is also 16. There's another way we could write that, x equals plus or minus 2. So there are 2 possibilities. Alright, number 2, we're looking for a number that when I times it by itself 3 times equals 27. I doubt that it's going to be 2. The next obvious choice would be to try 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So 3 is one option. You could consider negative 3. Those 2 negatives there will cancel each other out. 2 negatives multiplying makes a positive. Positive times a negative would in fact make that negative 27. So negative 3 is not an option this time. X squared equals 81, x equals 9, or negative 9, and you might just need to write that down for yourself. Remind yourself that 2 negatives make a positive, so in fact negative 9 squared will be 81 as well. This time we're looking for a number times itself 3 times will give me negative 125. 2, 3, 4. The next obvious choice to try would be 5. 5 times 5 is 25. 25 times 5. You may need to try that on a piece of paper. 5 5s are 25, carry the 2. 5 2s are 10. 12, 125. So, yes, 5 would give me positive 125, but I'm looking for negative. So the next obvious choice would be negative 5. Those 2 negatives will make a positive. Positive times a negative is a negative. So the answer is negative 5. A number times itself 3 times gives me 64. 2 would not be big enough. 3 doesn't work. Let's try 4. 4 times 4 is 16. 16 times 4. Once again at the side of your page, doesn't take long. 6 4s are 24, carry the 2, 64. So x equals 4. You might need to consider the negative as well. You should always consider the negative. But an odd number of negatives would give you a negative answer, because those 2 will cancel. I'll be left with a negative answer. So that's not an option here. Times itself 4 times. You could try 2, but I know from the top here that 2 to the 4 is 16. We could try 3. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 27 times 3. 20 times 3 is 60. So 27 times 3 is not going to get to 256. In fact, 27 times 3 is 81. So 3 to the power of 4 is 81. So 3 didn't work. Next obvious choice would be 4. 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, 64 times 4. At the side of your page, 256, it works. So x equals 4. and of course we need to try the negative, and you can see that 2 negatives make a positive, so that's going to work too. Moving down, x to the 4 equals 81, and 3 works, x equals 3, and because it's an even power, the other option is negative 3. 12 or negative 12 because it's an even power. Something times something times something equals negative 8. You can try 2. 2 2's are 4, 4 times 2 is 8. Because it's negative, it must be negative 2. Right, back up to the other side. 4 to the power of something equals 16, 4 squared. 5 to the power of something equals 25. Power must be 2. Now, how many 3's do I need to multiply together to give me 81? We've seen that the answer is 4 from the previous page, but if you forget, the strategy is going to be to write out quite a few, start multiplying. 3 3's are 9, 9 times 3 is 27, 27 times 3 is 81. I need 4 of them. X equals 4. Same with this one. How many 4's do I need? Write out a few, start doing the work. 4 4's are 16. 16 times 4 is 64. You can check that one as 5. Timesing 2 by itself, how many do I need to get me to 32? So at the side of your page you're going to need to write out quite a few. Start multiplying. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. Number 15, how many 3's? I know that 3 to the power of 4 gets me as far as 81. Let's check 81 times 3. 3 1's are 3, 3 8's are 24, yes. So that needed 5 of them. And you get quicker and you get better as you start to learn how many you need. And it's like skip counting, but skip counting in powers. The powers of 2. 2 to the 1 is 2, 2 squared, 2 cubed, 2 to the power of 4, 2 to the power of 5, 2 to the power of 6, 64. This one here, x is going to equal 3, and for this one x is going to equal 3 again. You can set them out, work them out. No more, over to the next side. Something to the power of 3 equals 216. 2, 3, 4, 5. The next obvious choice would be 6. 6 times 6 is 36. 36 times 6, bit of quick multiplying. 21, 216, yes. So x equals 6. You could consider negative 6, but it's an odd number again, which would mean a negative answer. So negative 6 is not an option. So similarly, this answer must be 3, 6 to the power of 3. X equals 7 or negative 7. Number 22, x is going to equal 2, 3 squared is 9. Now for these last three, a little bit of rearranging first. It looks a bit complicated at the moment, so if we divide both sides by 2, I'll be left with x cubed equals 27. I'm looking for a number. Times itself 3 times gives me 27. I know that the answer is 3. 3 3's are 9. 9 times 3 is 27. So x equals 3. Consider the negative, but that won't work either. Right, 5 to the power of x plus 20. So let's get rid of the 20 first. And I can see that x equals 2. 5 squared is 25. Timesing by 2 both sides. Something times itself 5 times. It doesn't take long to work out that the answer is 2. 2 2's are 4, 2's are 8, 2's are 16, times 2 is 32. You might want to consider the negative, but there would be an odd number of negatives, which would mean a negative answer.